Good morning to all of our media personnel here this morning, and to all of our supporters here in St. Lucia and the diaspora. We wish to say welcome to this press briefing this morning. We have a number of issues that we want to cover, and we want to also be forthright in terms of the information that is given here today, because it's of utmost importance that you, the people of St. Lucia, know exactly what is going on in your country, and that you are being appraised on situations that we believe as a party is of importance. For a very long time, and especially in these last 3 years, our country is under immense stress because of the mismanagement of a number of areas by this government. We see a lot of deception. We see a lot of betrayal of the people of this country. We see a lot of pushing back and playing the blame game, as opposed to taking full responsibility for what is happening in this country by a St. Lucia Labour Party led by Philip Pierre. And so, as we move into another day, another week, another month, another year, we basically see nothing really being addressed that could bring about a permanent resolution, or at least a semblance of saying that the Labour Party has its managing act together. Today, we're at 59 murders here in St. Lucia. Up to a day like today, the Prime Minister have not presented a blueprint to our police to say, this is how I wish for us to manage crime. Instead, we see new offices being put together, and portfolios, I should say, being put together. So now you have a Minister for Home Affairs, you have a minister responsible for national security, which is the Prime Minister, and you also have a Minister of Crime Prevention. Nobody understands what is that supposed to be. I never thought that there was anything about preventing crime. What I understood about crime is that governments and the agencies do everything possible to be able to manage crime. But now we have a crime prevention minister, but we stand today at 59 murders here in this country. And on every turn, as the occurrence of deaths and murders happen here in this country, we have not heard a single word coming from the Prime Minister and his colleagues to say that we understand and this is what we are doing, or that we offer sympathy or condolences to the parents of those young persons who are slaughtering each other here in this country. St. Lucians, amidst all the fete, amidst all the distraction that this government is creating, must not lose sense of the fact that if we do not do something very important to arrest this out of control murders and criminal activities here in this country, it will impact on not only on the image of St. Lucia, but it will impact on the livelihoods, which is tourism here in this country. And so I think it is of utmost importance that one highlight those things. Because we live in a country where a government that promised so much in opposition have offered so very little to the youths of this country. Where is the hope? Where are the jobs? Where are the social programs that are needed to be able to engage young people in this country? Instead, we have a government that tells us when each murder happens that we should accept the norm. It is something that is normal in a society. But how can violent crime become something that becomes normalized within a society? But if it is for the fete, if it is for the walk of shame, if it is for anything that causes diversion from the truth, we are called to pay attention to it, but we are asked to not pay attention to what is so prevalent and what is so factual before our very eyes. And so this morning, I want to appeal to this government that after 3 years, it is time to deliver on your promise for a safe St. Lucia. It is time to deliver on your promise for a St. Lucia that is honest in terms of how it deals with its people and shows responsibility as a government. I have said this so far on the crime and on the fact that this country is being mismanaged. But before I introduce my colleague and public relations officer of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Leonard Spider Montoute, let me say a few things. On the 22nd of September, we have put together a tentative request from the police asking for approval to have a public meeting in the Boulevard. Whilst it is true that we have not received a formal approval, we are just letting our supporters and sympathizers and well-wishers know that the United Workers' Party is going to be in the Boulevard on the 22nd of September, and we invite everyone to be present. It's a you cannot afford to miss moment on the 22nd. And so we need every single one of you to come as citizens of our country, as citizens of St. Lucia, as patriotic people, to come show your disapproval in terms of how this government has managed this country. And there will be some announcements being made. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I'm saying to you, it's a must thing in terms of being there. And we ask you to tell your friends, tell your neighbors, go out on social media, let everyone know that the 22nd of September, the United Workers' Party has a public meeting, which we're waiting tentative approval. And as soon as this is done, we will be more forthcoming in terms of the information that is needed in terms of having that meeting. We are also, in the next few days, we are going to launch what is called a flabo jar. And that is for the 22nd of September. So you are free out of that jar of graphics to choose which of the graphics you want to highlight on your status, WhatsApp status, and also on your Facebook pages and handle. So look out for it in the next few days. Once we know that we have the approval in hand, hopefully you're free to choose from that. We also want to welcome you and invite you also to a very big town hall meeting happening on Sunday, which is Sunday the 15th of September. And this is going to be at the Bexon Parish Center. So we're inviting each and every one of you to be present, because it's going to be a moment for all of us to be able to share with each other's company and to be able to inform our nation of the state of affairs here in St. Lucia. And with that said, I will now call upon my colleague and the Public Relations Officer for the United Workers' Party, Leonard Spider Montut, to address you on a number of issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prudent, Chairman of the United Workers' Party. And let me say a special good morning to all who are within earshot and those of you who are following on live stream this morning. While the Chairman has touched on the issue, I am compelled to speak further on the issue of crime. We have many problems in St. Lucia afflicting us today, but none worse than the plague that we are facing with our crime situation. I continue to say the ultimate is a loss of life, and that is irreversible. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki Senville, 21 years. Bradley Cole, 29 years. Keston DeLay, 29 years. Bernard Joseph, 34 years. Alva Cole, 17 years. Gregory Louison, 54 years. Melchizedek Tixi, 13 years. Janella Didier, 25 years. Kirtland Augustine, 25 years. Troy Albert, 35 years. These are 10 names that I just called out. And if you look at the ages, there are among them many young people, even teenagers. We have an average age of about 28 years among those people. Mr. Minister of National Security, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Crime Prevention, Mr. Prime Minister, do those names mean anything to you? Are these names on the list of the people that you put first? I'm sure to you, those names are mere statistics. Yes, the last 10 people killed in this country of St. Lucia, without a murmur coming from the government, steeped with portfolios related to crime. Not a word coming from our government to indicate that they even care or that they are concerned. I want to point out to you St. Lucians, in case it has escaped you, because I just heard the chairman of the party make a statement that is chilling, that the loss of life and the murder rate has become normal in St. Lucia. Normal to the extent that we hardly even talk about it. Normal to the extent that you don't hear a word from our government officials about it. That cannot be the new normal in St. Lucia. We cannot accept that that is what life has become in St. Lucia. Over the last 3 years, the St. Lucia Labour Party has presided over the governance of this country. And I know that there is so much that our current Prime Minister is oblivious to. There is so much that he does not know. Mr. Prime Minister, let me inform you, under your watch as Prime Minister, under your watch as Minister of National Security, there are over 240 St. Lucians who have lost their lives, who have been slain in this country as a result of violent crime. This year, the spree continues. We are approaching 60 homicides in this country for 2024. Again, we have seen no effort on the part of the government to arrest the situation. We have seen no indication that our government cares. And now I want to point out to you, St. Lucians, that there has been a dereliction of duties on the part of our government. I will keep reminding the government that among their primary responsibilities, that among their primary roles is, one, the safety and protection of our people, and two, the maintenance of law and order in our country. Today, we cannot say that we enjoy those privileges rather, let me retract that statement. They cannot enjoy those rights that a citizen of any country is entitled to. Instead, we as St. Lucians citizens, we as St. Lucian nationals, we remain unprotected, unsafe, and literally on our own. Our government has failed us dismally. Our Minister of National Security has been the worst that we have seen in the history of this country. And now, to make it worse, even worse than it is, they have added a new portfolio of crime prevention, which has not made any difference, not made a dent in the crime situation, but instead has only provided a salary for one of the boys. So, given the fact that we have a government with no plan, we can safely conclude that today in St. Lucia, the St. Lucia Labour Party government is hopeless, the St. Lucia Labour Party government is toothless, and the St. Lucia Labour Party government is obviously clueless. And the only solution that is in sight is a change of administration to bring in people who would take the situation seriously, people who recognize the value of St. Lucians' lives and will take up their responsibility in ensuring that something is done to redress the current situation and give St. Lucians some reprieve. When you have a leader who is visionless, when you have a leader who is indecisive, that is what you get. Take, for example, the appointment of the new police commissioner. Can you believe, with such a crucial, critical situation existing in this country as far as crime is concerned, our Prime Minister appoints a new commissioner and gives him an acting position for only 6 months? Is the Prime Minister really serious about addressing crime? Does the Prime Minister really believe that in 6 months, this current situation that has been allowed to go out of control over the last 3 years can be brought under control merely in 6 months? That in itself tells you, again, that you have a leader who is visionless and you have a leader who is clueless. Unfortunately, St. Lucians, we are on our own. We are forced to fend for ourselves because the government of St. Lucia has abdicated on its responsibility to provide safety, protection, law and order to us in this country. However, I want to make an appeal to you, my fellow citizens, that it is our responsibility to an extent to fend for ourselves, yes, but given the fact that the situation is so out of control, where people's homes are being invaded by criminals, our doors are being kicked down, and people shot in the sanctuary of their homes, we, in trying to fend for ourselves, I appeal to you, do not yield to the temptation of becoming lawless yourself. Do not yield to the temptation of becoming a criminal yourself, because in the process of trying to protect your own lives, it may be very tempting to do things that are illegal. For example, obtaining illegal firearms, engaging in vigilante justice, and things of that sort. I ask you, do not yield to that temptation, because it will only make the situation worse, and that is not the solution. The solution is to ensure that you have people who care, people who are concerned, people with a vision, and people who provide leadership. And so, I say in ending to the St. Lucia Labour Party, the focus that you have, where your primary and sole concern is about asking the citizens of St. Lucia to protect the victory, to preserve the high offices and the positions that you hold, should instead be focused on using the high offices and the position that you hold to protect the lives and security of the people of St. Lucia. I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you, especially those of you who have been following on live stream. We thank you, and please tune in again next Tuesday when we will have our next press brief. But in the meantime, I just want to remind you that we are working on getting approval from the police to host our massive political meeting on the Boulevard on the 22nd of September. And remember, we have on Thursday morning, on Rev Up, we have Meet the Opposition with Nancy Charles. On Thursday evening, we have a round table. And on Sunday, we have Flabo Live. You can also join our programs on Sky FM, as well as Pastor Garfield on a Tuesday with his program in the diaspora. So we want to thank you. Stay tuned and look out. Look out for a new talk show that was supposed to have started on the 17th, but instead will commence on Monday, the 23rd of September, and that will be a simulcast on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM. So thank you very much. Stay tuned to the United Workers' Party, where we provide you with the truth and we show you the light. Thank you very much.